Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. Today, as we stand here in 2023, it is August the 24th. The Cardinals are 14 and a half games out. So you're telling me there's a chance?
No, I'm not. I would not tell you that. Um, what a bad season. Just a bad mess of a season.
It's almost one. It's funny to watch what happened.
What?
You just had a bad reaction. There's something happened that you were watching.
No, I burped.
It's funny. It is funny. Look, I think as it's gotten deeper into the season, I'm willing not to give them a pass. That's not the right thing to say because I'm not giving the organization a pass, the front office a pass for their failures. However, it is funny to watch people who want to just think after one season we have to get rid of everyone. Like everyone has to go, bring in all new, let's start over as if that ever works anywhere. And then yeah, this has been literally, it was the perfect storm where every bad thing that could happen happened. So I think you have to take a step back and really see it for what it is as a baseball fan and as a Cardinal fan, and that is failed front office and failed ownership at that point, and failed also performance by a lot of the players that we were counting on. I think you have to put the burden on them as well. You can put some burden on Ollie because he is the captain of the ship, and that's fine. But let's move on now to the future of 2024. And if this does happen again, then we do have a major problem on our hands. But I do think the overall reaction to freak out to games when you're 14 games out, that you're losing in August, that we know the season's over with, is maybe a bit much.
There was a 4-game stretch where Nolan Arenado was taken out of the game 3 different times because they were getting blown out.
I mean, it is what it is, right? Like you can't. It's just funny to watch even people still mad at what's happening. And instead of, I think we have to be able to see the forest through the trees. And now, to be fair, if that forest gets deeper next year, then we do have a problem. But I think we have to look forward. We have to take Mo at his word that they are going to go out and they're either going to sign or they're going to trade both for pitching. They're going to upgrade the bullpen. And now, I think the only way to judge this is at the end or halfway through next year, because if becomes a trend, then we definitely have a problem. But if it just to me feels like an anomaly and a blip on the system. That's the way I got to look at it.
I get that you can it is a blip in the sense that I don't think they're going to be this bad next year, but it's not a blip like, oh, they were just bad one year. No, this was building for 10 years.
Agreed.
Like Mo has, I mean, look in the last 3 years since we've got Arenado, how many times could they have gone through this? Like if Albert didn't do what he did, they might not have made the playoffs last year. If they didn't win 17 in a row, like that team was middling the entire year. They've been teetering on the verge of this for years. And now it kind of all came to roost.
The one take that does sort of get me, and I want to get your take on this before we move into a couple really exciting things for the Cardinals, and the future of the team. But one thing that does get me is it does feel like now, because the Cardinals have had this bad year, it's hilarious to me to watch people think that the Cubs, the Reds, and the Pirates organization is still better than ours. It's now better than ours. I don't believe that. I do believe they're having a better season, but you can't convince me that the Cubs, Reds, and I know the Reds have a decent farm system, they're not going to spend money. They're not going to spend any money. All right.
When they do,
and
they
you
do
can't
it
tell me that
way.
the Pirates are going to go spend money. Like, let's be careful to start crowning the Brewers, Cubs, Reds, Pirates, who have had zero success over the last 10 years outside of a Cubs World Series. I will give them that, but you know where I'm going. Outside the last 5 years.
That was the product of tanking for 20 years.
Correct. So you can't convince me that those organizations are better than ours or set up better than ours. Like when healthy, and we upgrade the pitching, we are still, in my opinion, light years above everyone else in our division.
Anyone who says that the Cardinals aren't the best organization in this division is just stupid.
Well, it's happening a lot. Like I agree.
Well, then they're dumb. That's just like false.
Right.
Like the only team that's been like comparable to them over the last 10 years, and I know the Cubs won the World Series, but how many of those 10 years did they not make the playoffs? A lot of them. Is the Brewers. And the Brewers have won a total of 0 World Series in their history.
And when can I ask honestly, was the last time the Brewers won a postseason series 2011? Like when we played them in the did they win another one?
They won one with, I remember Mike Moustakas getting a big hit for them and them winning a series.
Okay, so
but I think that might have been like a wild card game. So I don't even
maybe one series, maybe one wild card game since 2011. Like the Reds haven't done much of anything. The Cubs did have a nice little run there. Got to give them props. But it's not like the Pirates have been irrelevant for 20 years. Well, that's
Longer
not true.
Than that.
No, because then when they had McCutchen, there was that nice little run.
They got bounced in the NLDS.
No, I know. I'm just saying they did get in. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's still irrelevant. Like you should get
agreed.
in the playoffs.
So you can't come at me like that. But let's move on to what, in my opinion, we were lucky enough. Shout out to Billy Cunningham and his wife Tiffany for getting us tickets. Awesome tickets, by the way. We were in attendance Friday night for the Masyn Winn era beginning. What a reaction by the crowd. We get to see his first hit. We got to see Jordan Walker's first game. Got to see his first hit. Got to see Masyn Winn's first hit. The little chopper on the infield that he beat out. Saw him make some ridiculous plays, and probably if Goldie's at first, I mean, you're talking maybe number one on the MLB Network plays of the week.
Who was at first base?
Well, that's my guy Lucan Baker, but we're not going to talk about that. Either way, it was pretty exciting, and it's pretty exciting to have him up. Now he is struggling. I think he has like about a 411 OBP or OPS, and he's hitting like 217. That's okay. Get the ears wet, get the feet wet, get him ready to go. Let's get him ready for 2024.
Yeah, I don't care at all what his stats look like this season. I mean, it'd be great if he comes out and ends up with an 800 OPS for the month and a half he's up here, or 2 months, whatever it is. But he looks ready. Like that's a good thing. Like he doesn't look overmatched. He doesn't look like he's not mentally ready for it. He looks like he's confident in being a big leaguer. All I'm looking for is for him to, the struggles he would go through early next season, go through them now. Like that way next season you've experienced it. Now you know what to work on in the off season. It was a great idea to bring him up. I'm happy for him. Obviously, it was a cool moment until Pete Alonso threw the ball into the crowd, which whatever.
Can we talk about that for just 2 seconds? I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. Look, at the initial reaction from the crowd, the dugout, everyone was anger. I'm sorry. You can't convince me that he did that on purpose. I don't love Pete Alonso. I know people love to hate Pete Alonso. And I know that it is an anomaly for a first baseman. Maybe it's not. Maybe we just don't watch it a lot to throw a ball that, whatever. There is no way that he chucked that thing that deep in there just to be a dickhead. I'm sorry. I do not believe that. You could tell by his post game. He's still talking about it like almost a week later about how sorry it was. He went to Masyn multiple times during the game and apologized to him. You just can't convince me that Pete Alonso did that on purpose. What?
Pete Alonso did that and then gave him a signed bat as a gift.
Yeah. Like you can't convince me of
Hold
that.
on. Why would Masyn Winn want his signed bat?
Well, because players, when they come up, ask for everybody.
So Pete Alonso thinks that he's like a Hall of Famer. Is that what he thinks? Come on.
We also don't know that Masyn didn't ask for that. If he said,
didn't.
"Hey,"
they said Masyn Winn came in with the bottle of tequila and a signed bat on his thing. Tequila's nice. The signed bat, really? That'd be like being a celebrity and going out in public and bringing like a headshot with you and like signing it for people, just giving it to them.
They do that.
They don't do it without them being asked. That's weird, dude.
Okay, that's fine. But again, back to my original thesis.
You didn't think that at all, though? Hold on.
I don't believe that he threw it in the stands on purpose. I just don't.
I don't really care. He just stopped being a doofus all the time.
He is a doofus. That is the right word.
Like I don't even have anything against him. He just think every once in a while, like once maybe. Like why do you think the crowd was giving a standing ovation for an infield hit?
I know.
Like why was he getting a standing ovation before the at bat? Like how does he play baseball and he's so unaware of everything?
I don't understand. I think there's a lot of guys in the league like that. I really truly do. They show up, they play the game, and they go home, and that's it.
He was deadlifting before a home run derby round.
That's to keep your body loose.
No one else does that. And he lost.
He also won twice. No one else does that. Not a lot of people, at least.
That's not true.
Anyway, move on. I'm not going to get into Pete. We already spent too much time on Pete.
Wait, hold on, though. Did you not think that the signed bat's weird? Yeah, they just want to sign bat without them asking. That is so arrogant.
Here, Rook. Here's my autograph.
Hey, I made a mistake. So
do we know what type of tequila? Autograph. Was it Casamigos?
I think they said I think they said no, I forgot. I didn't know.
What if he gave him like a bottle of Sauza?
He probably gave him
$8 at the hit and run.
Gave him Jose Cuervo sour mix and a signed bat. That's probably what he gave him.
Not even what you add your own tequila. It didn't even come with the tequila mix in it.
I don't. All right. It's just so weird to me. Whatever.
It is. Second, your new favorite player, who is not named Bernal.
He's not my favorite player, but okay.
Well, he is. Who's not? Is Richie Palacios. So let the Richie. Hey, we are all witness. Today is Kobe Day, 8/24. LeBron was the we are witness, but we are now like all part of the Richie Palacios run. is this Fugazi, or is this one of those, another guy in the long line of Cardinal players who come up, get hot? I mean, this happens on every team. I'm just talking about the Cardinals. And then we never hear about Richie Palacios again. Or in your personal opinion, do you believe Richie Palacios can be a guy who's serviceable on the big league roster for the next 2 to 3 years?
I think the 1088 OPS is Fugazi because that's a small sample size. But no, I think he's a good hitter. Like, I think you look at his minor league stats, outside of this year with Cleveland, I mean, he was great in the minor leagues. Like, we're looking at 959 OPS his first year in 2018 in the minors, 875 in 2021. I guess he was hurt in 2019 and then didn't have a 2020.
2020 was that.
OPS.
2020 was COVID, so nobody had one.
Yeah, but 2019 he didn't play either. And he had 829 OPS. And then this year he had a 756 between both levels, but he had over a 900 with the Cardinals. Like, he's been a good hitter everywhere he's been. I don't know if he's going to be a starting outfielder, but would it surprise me if he's a good defensive replacement that can also get on base at a good high level? Because he's a great on base guy. He's a fourth outfielder, I think. He can be, I think.
Okay,
so starter, but
here's the question. All right, and this is, we got to, because of past being great, present being terrible, we have to speak on the future for the most part. Do you think, I mean, that right now Alec Burleson is your fourth outfielder next year? Here's the problem that I'm looking at. Okay, so I really do want to talk about this. I thought it was great to talk about this with Kyle, because his view of it, he's seen these guys since they were drafted, so I loved that. But you've got Carlson, you've got O'Neill, you've got Walker, you've got Nootbaar, you've got Burleson, you've got Palacios, you've got Victor Scott knocking down the door, you've got Antico, who has 44 stolen bases down there on his way. I mean, what do you think? How do you see that outfield shaking out? You think they carry 5 guys again next year and have this whole conundrum one more time? Well, obviously, I think we think there's going to be a thinning of the herd, right? Like, I think we see that coming. But what do you do? What do you do? Again, give me the Caleb Noble, Mo Zaylock hat. What would you do in this offseason? And what would you like to see them go into March, April of 2024 as their outfield?
I think it's impossible to say what they're going to do because trades, whatever. I have no idea what they're going to do.
What would you do? That's all I want to know.
I don't know. I mean, Nootbaar would be out there and Walker would be out there and everyone else. Like, Tyler, for me, I'd trade Tyler O'Neill. I'm over it. I'm over it.
Yeah. Even though he appears to be back?
Don't care.
Okay.
He's
but
back.
You told me not too long ago that you thought he'd be their left fielder.
Yeah, that's before he decided that he can't play on turf. Get off my team. You can't, like, seriously, if I'm Nolan Arenado, no way do I want that guy on my team. No way. You can't play for me on turf. Are you serious? Because you're afraid of your knee injury? You had to move to center field presumably because you wanted more money. And then you had the worst defensive metrics in center field. And then you were injured. And then you had a back spasm. And then you were out for 60 days. Like, over it. Like, what are we keeping him around for?
Yeah, I think you keep him around because, like, again, the skill set is a unicorn. We've talked about it before. Right, agreed. I get it.
Who cares?
I get it.
You know who else was skilled? Every player to ever be drafted.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't have anything against Tyler the human, but at some point, enough is enough. When is enough with this guy?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, that's a great question.
For me, after that race series, I would have said, go home.
Yeah.
Don't play anymore.
It's going to be really interesting to see what they do there.
Well, what did you think of that? I want your opinion on that. That we never talked about it. You cannot tell me tell your teammates that you're afraid of how your knee is responding to turf and you can't play.
I mean, you can if you're injured. Like, you can.
He played a game. He played the third game of the series.
Yeah, it was another shocking event in the Tyler O'Neill saga that has really started at the end of 2021. If we're going to be honest, like, that's when it started with the arbitration stuff. And then the injuries last year. And then when he was healthy, he was very good, except for the beginning of the year last year. He was not. But then when he got hurt and he came back both times, was very good. He comes back again, he's good. But again, you had the flare up with he and Ollie. You had him wanting to play center field. And then you have the back issues. I'm never going to judge injuries on a guy. It's not my job to call somebody out to say they should be playing. I don't know. I'm not in there every day.
I know you should be playing if you're saying you're afraid. Like,
when you add it to the list of everything, your point is incredibly valid. That's what I'll say.
Also, doesn't that might give you a little bit more context as to why Ollie said what he said?
Right. It could. Do
you think that was just that coincidence that Ollie said, "Hey, run harder"? He's not trying hard enough, and now he can't play on turf because he's afraid to.
Well, if you remember, Matt Holliday came out on the radio and essentially said this wasn't like Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
over it. Why is he still
Do you
here?
think do you think though that everyone else knows this and that just like destroys his trade value? So if you
Don't
just try
trade
to
him,
get what you can
non-tender him,
get,
non-tender him.
so you're gonna DFA him like a Adolis
That's
Garcia.
not
Like
the
that's
thing. He doesn't deserve the money he's gonna get. He's gonna get like $8 million. He's not worth that. He doesn't play
okay.
100 games.
Okay.
And I like Tyler O'Neill, and I wish he wasn't like this. But I mean, at this point, it is what it is. Like if your manager has to call you out for effort, like if I'm his teammate, I don't even like. That's why this is why I think we never heard that this caused any clubhouse rifts when Ollie came out and said what he said. I don't think
Even
anyone
though
disagreed with it.
even though all the fans would love to tell you that Ali lost the clubhouse that day.
I think it was. I think there, and there's a lot of stuff, and I don't know this to be true, but this is just a lot of people have said this that they thought he could have played in the postseason last year, and he didn't want to, and they said, "You're not staying here. You're going to Arizona."
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Why? I don't know why he's like. It
Well,
seems like both of them could use fresh starts. Both
while we're
parties.
talking about Ali, I mean, it's impossible to grade him, I think, because of everything that happened this year.
Yeah.
But I do think that you have to look at the fact that maybe the leash is getting a little bit tighter on that. And I think maybe like
What does that mean?
2024, I mean, I think for a while he's the guy, but I do think you have to look at the point that if this comes out again, if this happens again next year where we have these problems, that you might be looking for a new manager, which also means you're looking for a new president of baseball
Yeah,
operations.
no, I don't agree with that.
I don't
think
know that you
this
can
is all
call.
on
I
roster
just don't know that
construction.
you can. I don't know that you can call Ali a great manager, and I don't know that you can call him a terrible manager. That's what I'm going to
Well,
say.
neither would be fair. I don't
Yeah,
think.
I think so.
But I this entire season's on the front office
Absolutely.
and ownership, every single bit of it. Has Ollie helped? Obviously not. Like obviously he hasn't helped them be in a better place. But at some point, like it was Matheny's fault. It was Schilt's fault. It's the same guy that's here. That
Right.
Mozeliak's a really good baseball executive. He has been for a long time, but he's lost his grip on how the game is trending. He's completely lost it. Pitching is way more important than he tends to believe it is, I guess. Strikeouts are more important. Spending money is important. Like if you don't have to be, the Mets or the Padres. We see how that's going. But it's every year, like the teams in the World Series are top 5 to 8 in payroll every year. Like it is important to spend some sort of money. The Rays are an outlier when they went in 2020, and that was the COVID season. So they've got to figure it out. I don't give any of this blame on Ollie, but obviously if he goes out there and he gets 2 great pitchers and they perform well, but they still are, not a playoff team, then we look at it. But as of now, I don't have any view of that.
Okay. By the way, thank you to everybody who is watching right now on YouTube. We greatly appreciate you. If you would go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Once again, we are playing for those of you viewing. Where's Caleb? It's like, where's Waldo? But where's Caleb? Caleb's in a new apartment in Champaign, back at school. Looks very nice. There's no clothes hanging in the back, so that's good.
My room's so
there's
so
still
dim,
nothing on the walls. Still nothing on
I
the
just
walls.
got in here. I can't put stuff on this
is
wall.
that a plant over your right shoulder?
That's a blanket.
And a TV. So
Yeah,
hey, there's a couple things in there. At least we got that going on. And then those of you listening, by the way, thank you to everyone who's been listening on Spotify and Apple. We greatly appreciate that, or Anchor, whatever you're listening to. Those numbers have greatly gone up. So thanks, guys. Great. Tell a friend. We greatly appreciate you. We'd love to have you join us on YouTube as well. So thank you. Moving forward, give me your thoughts on these 3 guys. All right. Matthew Liberatore, Zack Thompson, Dakota Hudson, and their future with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Okay. I'll
the look. If you're not watching on YouTube, all right, and you are listening, the look just said it all. The look literally just said it all.
I'll start with Zack Thompson.
Okay, good.
Because he's the only one I want to talk about. Zack Thompson in his last 4 outings, 18 innings pitched, 18 hits, whatever, 6 earned runs, which is a 3 ERA flat, 3 walks, and 23 strikeouts. That's really, really good. I'm impressed with Zack Thompson. I didn't think he was going to be a starter at the big league level.
Me neither.
I still don't know if he can be. I will see. I mean, we'll see what happens. But that 3rd pitch seems to really be helping him, or 4th, whatever. So I'm impressed with him. I think he's been the brightest spot because he's a guy I actually want to see do well, because I think he can be a really key contributor next year. Do you want me to keep going down the line, or do you want to chime in here at all?
No. I wanted to get your thoughts on them, and then
Matthew Liberatore. 3 words. I don't know. we'll see. I don't think he's ever going to be. He's never going to be a Randy Arozarena type player. I don't think. But I don't know what he's going to be. He could be a 5 starter at some point in his career. He could be a bullpen piece. He could just be a AAA depth guy. Like all those things are in play for him. I just don't know what to say about him. It's unfortunate he's hurt because we could have gotten to see more of him, but whatever. And Dakota Hudson, if you get fooled into thinking he should be in your five-man rotation, I swear that they're going to be back in this position next year. If Dakota Hudson is slotted in one of those 5 spots on opening day next year, they will be right back here next year. That's what I have to say about him.
Okay, so that kind of led me to my next question and my next thoughts. Like, one, here's my thing with Liberatore. He's 23. I'm not ready to call him. I'm not ready to make a prediction on what we think he's going to be. And I'm not saying you're wrong. And I'm not saying
I'm not making a prediction.
I'm simply, no, I know you're not. Like, I think you're right. He could be a 5. He could, who knows? He's 23. I think we have to remember that. And pitchers, like Kyle talked about last time on our pod, they're awful. Like they're impossible to develop. They're impossible to stay healthy. You never know. So I don't want to throw him away yet, but I also do think it is starting to get to the point to where we have seen a lot at the big league level.
Yeah, at some point.
Right. Agreed. Now, Dakota Hudson, I'm on board. Do you think maybe this recent surge fools another team into a package deal? Agreed.
No, why would anyone want to?
So what do you do with Dakota Hudson?
Watch him pitch?
So what do you?
I don't care.
Yeah, but you have like, what is his?
But I get what you're saying, but like, it's nothing against Dakota, but keep him in AAA if you need an arm. Like,
okay, I kind of agree with that.
Unless his contract gets too expensive, then non-tender him.
Are you concerned?
I don't have anything against him, but
are you concerned that the Zack Thompson success now fools Mo into going out and getting 2 starting pitchers instead of 3?
I don't. I think him and honestly, I think maybe getting 2 would be a good idea instead of 3 because 3 is a lot. But no, I don't think anything's going to fool him because I don't think he wants to be embarrassed again like he was this year.
Right. Poor Drew Rom. Like terrible defense behind Drew Rom. Not that he was great. Not saying that, but the hilarity of people who don't understand baseball on social media who think that this guy is a bust. Like
there was one guy that said it that does understand baseball that's on the post game. Al Raboski said he doesn't have 1 major league pitch.
Okay, I'm
not saying I agree with him. I'm saying he said
I'm kind of tired of the Al Raboski shtick. All right, I really am.
It is weird. I mean, I like
taken off the air. You got taken off the
air.
Hold
on, stop. Don't trash him.
He did.
Okay, it's not worth it. Don't trash him.
But I'm sorry, his shtick's kind of where it's old with me. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying he's right. I'm saying this whole he picks and chooses who to go after at times.
Yes.
It gets annoying. That's all I'm saying. This kid's a rookie making his rookie debut. Like, let's not even say one negative thing about him. You can say he didn't have his stuff tonight. He didn't look good. You can say all that. But to say he doesn't have 1 major league pitch, honestly, is asinine because we have no clue.
It's just stupid to say that after one outing because you don't know. Right. I know he wasn't watching game film of Memphis before then. Which he was great at. I'd give him another start, like especially with Liberatore going down. I'd give him another start and see. His stuff didn't look good, and yeah, the defense was bad, which plays a factor. Being your first start, that plays a factor. His stuff did not look good, and if it continues to look like that, he's not a major league starter. But Agreed. I don't think it will continue to look like that. So we'll see.
Right. So JC continues to hit.
He's a stud. He's a stud.
What? He's really good. I'm just intrigued. I assume they're not going to call him up to Memphis this year. I assume that's. Will. Oh, you think they will now with Masyn?
Now that I thought maybe it would
happen with Masyn gone, but they've yet to do it. So
they could do it in September. Well, I don't know. When's the
they don't play much, right?
Like, he might not.
Over.
There's really no reason to.
I'm intrigued to see if they send him to the Arizona Fall League. I really am because I watched him. I've watched a couple games down here of him at Springfield. That bat is electric. I do think he probably profiles as a second baseman. That's my guess. I mean,
third baseman maybe.
Playing a little bit of both, it seems like, but I'm just intrigued by, honestly, out of all the guys that we got, I'm intrigued by him and the Showalter kid the most, if we're going to be honest, and that Prieto as well. Like, I am really intrigued by that kid because it seems like all he does is get hits.
Yeah, he's good. Showalter's on the IL. Hopefully, he gets whatever that is figured out. But so JC's really good. Like, he's just a hitter, I think, and he's so skinny. Like, if he adds any kind of weight, he's going to be even better. I don't know. I haven't watched a ton of them, honestly. I've been so busy here lately.
You would enjoy it. That's what I'll tell you. That Springfield team's pretty fun to watch. They're not great, but they're pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, he's good. And I mean, he kind of seemed like a throw-in at the first. I didn't really know who he was. The Prieto guy was definitely a throw-in. Like, I don't know how they got him. They almost took advantage of another team's logjam there. They need the pitchers to pan out though. Like these position players,
I agree.
like I hope they're all good, all the position players, and you need more good position players because it allows you to trade other ones. But my gosh, if none of these pitchers pan out, oh,
Are are you concerned? I know the answer, so I don't even know why I'm asking the question, but let's ask it
but
anyway. Are you a little bit concerned about Jordan Walker?
no,
Okay, you think that he's just kind of getting worn down a little bit by the big league
he's 20,
schedule and
21
everything
years
else?
old.
Huh?
He's 21 years old.
I understand that, but J-Rod last year was 21 years old, leading a team to
How
the
is he for the first
playoffs.
half this year?
I get it, but last year, I'm just saying this
I'm
rookie
just that's
year,
my
we
point.
know what he
Like,
did his
no,
rookie
he's
year.
fine.
That was the comp. That's the only reason I bring it
Yeah.
up.
Well, who
Everyone's
comped him to
different.
J-Rod? That's stupid.
Come on, everyone
Well,
was. You
those
know
people
that.
are dumb. They'd be
Except
like,
obviously he
that's
doesn't
just
have the
that's
space
setting
or
him up to
the
fail.
speed.
That's what we talked about. Is you should have expectations
I
of him to
agree.
fail.
I agree.
And I am concerned about his defense. He needs to get that figured out. I don't know
Yeah.
how you can be so athletic and so bad in the outfield. I
What
don't
would
know how.
they almost need to pay? They need to just pay Willie McGee an open check and put him on retainer and just have him sleep and stay with Jordan Walker all summer or all
I
off
just don't get
season.
it. It's
And
so
just
frustrating. He's not
yeah.
getting better,
No, no, he's
which is
not.
like so weird. And I'm not saying he's not working at it because all reports are he works incredibly hard.
Right.
But what you think at some point that'd pay off?
Maybe. I mean, but when you like I told you, and again, way different, way different. So what he's doing way harder. But and Kyle talked about this last time. They moved him to the outfield too late. They moved him to the out. You knew you had Nolan. They got nervous that he might opt out, so they kept Jordan at third base. Like they got nervous about that. They should have moved him at the beginning of last year
Well, that's not
to
what he
the
said.
outfield.
Kyle said he agreed with it.
Yeah, no, he also said he wishes they would have moved him earlier, so he would have got more reps. That's exactly what he said. So my point is, like, he's still very new to the situation. You moved from second base to the outfield, and you had no problem. Again, we're talking apples and oranges at the levels. I get it. But when I moved to the outfield, I never picked it up. Again, apples and oranges, and I caught fly balls my entire life. It was just different. But again, we're big time difference. Not making the comparison as it's the same thing. I'm just saying it's got to be even harder for him to move out there. And when you've never played it, like it's got to be. I mean, we've seen Chris Duncan go out there and struggle.
He's been doing it for over a year.
Who struggled out there? Like we've seen.
That's different. He's been doing it for over a year.
I get it.
He's got to be better than he is right now. Like, yeah,
I agree.
I'm not saying he should be a Gold Glover. I'm not even saying he should be league average, but he shouldn't be this bad.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Like that's my only.
What if
my only opinion?
Can I ask you another question? What if he is
this bad in the outfield?
Yeah, like next year.
I don't know how. I think he has to be able to get better because he can't get worse.
But that's not my like.
I don't know. I don't know how that's even possible, Dad. My brain doesn't compute to that.
To the next question, they're going to offer Goldie an extension next year, correct? Or in the offseason?
I don't know if he'll take it.
Really?
If I'm him, I'm saying, prove to me you're going to sign pitchers, and then I'll talk to you.
All right.
Why would you not go chase a ring?
I just don't see Goldie going anywhere else. I don't.
Why would you not go chase a ring? Go DH for the Dodgers for a year.
First of all, do you see Paul Goldschmidt in LA? I just can't.
JD Martinez is in LA, so yeah.
I don't know what that means, but
JD Martinez is like, have you ever heard him speak? What's his voice sound like?
I know it's very quiet. I know.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, yes, could I see Paul Goldschmidt? I think he'll be here for the rest of his career. But if I'm him, I'm like, how about this? Go sign Aaron Nola or someone and maybe another guy and then talk to me. And if you're not going to do that, trade me. Like, why would – but I don't know if he'll be like that. So, yeah, they're going to offer him an extension. I don't know if he'll take it.
See, that's the conundrum that the Cardinals are in because next year's it. And if they're good next year, they're going to have to either extend him or they're going to lose him for nothing, a draft pick.
Well, I hate that. Lose them for nothing. What if they win the World Series?
Well, obviously. Well, if they win the World Series, he's coming
back.
That's
what I'm saying. Like, I hate that lose them for nothing because I hate that people say you're going to lose them for nothing even if you make the postseason. But then you go around and say trade for rentals at the deadline. Like,
you know what I mean? I mean, you're talking about a Hall of Fame guy. Like, that's a difference.
Yeah, you're not going to lose him for nothing. If he's on the market and you're giving – if he's on the market and the Cardinals want to go get him, they can go get him. He's not just going to leave.
Okay. All right.
But yes, I do think that's an extension. But do you think he would take it? Just take it just because? He has to be frustrated. I know he doesn't talk about it.
I'm sure. Okay, I'm sure he's frustrated. But here's the thing: he's also been in the playoffs the last 4 years. He's really had one good series in 4 years in the playoffs. All right.
Yeah.
He's not. I mean, I get the feeling that he loves it here.
He's had
I
two
get
good
the
series. He's
Okay,
really
two
been
good
playing
series.
20.
My apologies. I get the feeling that he loves it here. I get the feeling that
Yeah.
he I view him like I kind of viewed Matt Holliday, a kind of a quiet leader who like
Holiday
just
left at the end of his career.
doesn't say much. I get it, but I don't know that Paul Goldschmidt leaves. Maybe he does. I just don't
Those are
know.
different
I don't know
situations,
that
though.
answer.
I don't know. And if we're being 100% fair here, Goldie's part of their problem this year. Just straight up. Like, he's been part of the issue. Everything has declined for him. And that was expected from his MVP season,
Right.
but at the level it has declined, it's a little jarring. I'm
He's
not saying
still
he
having
won't
a
get it
really good
back.
year.
Not for a first baseman, he's not.
Where does he
Like, we
rank?
got
Do
to
you know? Do
put
you
this
have
in
that?
perspective. He's like, what is he, an 800 OPS at first base? That's not
I think
bad by any means, but that's not a great first
that's
baseman.
fair. That's fair.
And I'm not trying to like bash on him, but he has an 820
Feels like
OPS.
maybe you are.
He's 24% above league average, and that's good. That's a good year, but not when you're a cornerstone of the team. Like, you
Where do you?
can't.
He's got to rank in the top 10 first baseman though in the game.
Probably he's still good, but he needs to
Top
be better
eight.
than that for you.
Yeah, I
Like,
think again last year was that MVP season like that.
but he
You
still
know,
needs to be an above 850 OPS guy for you
yeah, I
if you
agree.
have success. Like, and that's the thing. Again, I'm not shitting on him. Part of that's the problem. The problem is guys like Nootbaar and O'Neill and Carlson and everyone else have been getting injured and haven't picked up any slack. So that's a
Yeah,
big part of it too.
I just still don't love him in the 2 slot, but that's fine. Whatever, leave him
They moved
there.
him down to 3 a couple of times.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I like
I
to
don't
see.
mind it. It's just I don't know. I mean, if his power keeps slipping down, like, because his power is down, it has like 20 homers. He's gonna probably get to 25-ish. If his powers keep slipping down and he's still the on base guy he's been, then maybe the 2 holes perfect for him.
Maybe that's true. That's true.
Like, the problem would be if you don't have one of your Gormans, Walkers, Nootbaars, whoever, step up and be able to be in the 3 hole.
Would
That'd be
you
the point.
enter? I've asked you this before, and I think on here, would you entertain going after another bat in the offseason?
I mean, I would entertain everything, but that makes your team better. But that'd be my last priority.
Okay. Well, yeah,
Do you
I
think
mean,
you
I
need
agree.
one? I
Pitching
don't
has
think
to
you
be.
need one.
I mean, here's the thing. Like when Gorman's hot, we know that he's a middle of the order bat, but when he's not, he's not. So outside of
Right.
Goldie and Nato, you don't really have another middle. I mean, Willie's been really good.
Yeah,
That's
I
fine,
mean, Donovan and Nootbaar have been middle of the order bats.
but they're not going
They've
to hit
both
in the middle of
been
the order.
they've both been Nootbaar's been better than Goldschmidt. So what are we talking about?
So do you think Newbar is your future 3 hitter? I think he's your leadoff hitter.
It
That's
could
what.
be.
Yeah.
Where's Donovan's your leadoff hitter?
Okay, that's fair. And then you
Or
go
if you
right.
want and
Then
you want to
we
put
love.
Goldie, if you want
We
to put
go to
Goldie
your
back
lovely
at
lefty
3,
righty.
if you want to put Goldie at 3 and then put Nootbaar at 2, I don't care. But I think Donovan, Goldie, Arenado, Nootbaar,
Willie.
Gorman, Wilson. I think
That's
those
fair.
6 can be anywhere in your top 6 and you're fine.
Yeah, I think that's a really good
If you want to
point.
bat Wilson fourth, bat Wilson fourth. I don't really care. Like, these
Right.
guys, they're all well above league average hitters, all of them.
Willie got really mad the other night.
Yeah, well, he's a psychopath. I think he's a little crazy. Well, that's why
He
we love
is.
him though. Like,
Yep.
yeah, the umpire's been awful. That was great. There were so many. I watched.
It
There was someone that did a
just gets
super cut of
worse.
all the missed calls and how frustrated he was getting behind the plate when Wayno was pitching, and then how frustrated he got when he got like 4 missed calls against him that game. So it was a culmination of everything, and it was great. And that stuff like that's exactly why they need to not move on from him if they're thinking
Agreed.
about it,
Agreed.
because you need that guy. You need that guy's energy in your clubhouse.
He's doing one like that fiery right now.
Yeah, like
Everybody else is just sort of. I mean, Nolan's fire. Arenado's definitely fiery.
but he's not really right now.
Yeah. Well,
There's
right now
nothing
you're
against
playing,
him. Like, I think
dude,
he's
you're
probably
playing out the year
projected.
right now.
Yeah, but Wilson being that fiery right now, the dude's crazy.
Yep. Last thing, Wayno going to get to 200.
No,
Yeah. I mean, I thought
it's
for sure he
sad.
was going to get it
Well,
the other
you know
night,
what?
and
You know what?
then he just
Actually,
blows up again.
hold on. I think he will. I think he's gonna get to 200. I think he's gonna win one game where he gives up like 6 runs in 5 innings and the offense scores 10. And I think like one of his last 3 starts at Busch, he'll be good. And by good, I mean 5 innings, 2 earned, and I think they'll win. Because if you didn't watch the start, he was cruising for a while in it.
I know.
Like, he was 4 innings, 0 earned runs, I believe. Like, is there out of realm possibility that he just does that for one more inning, one game, and wins a game?
He'll win
I don't
2.
think so. Yeah, I think one of those games it can be he gives up a lot of runs and the offense scores a ton of runs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he'll get there. It's 2 wins. I think he's gonna get there.
Okay. All right. Good. I like the
Like Mad
optimism.
Bum was looking into wins at the end of his career.
Mad Bum's not at the end of his career.
He's not playing.
He'll
His
be back
career's
next year.
ended.
Somebody will sign
He's
him.
not
They
at the
keep
end.
signing Cole Hamels. Somebody's gonna sign Madison
He
Bumgarner.
retired. Cole Hamels.
I know. Finally, finally,
officially
after
retired 5 years after he actually retired.
yeah, right. Anything else you want to hit on with the Cardinals organization? I mean, there's not much. There's not a lot to talk about except for
It's
the
so
future.
boring right now.
It
Right?
really is.
Like,
Well, I've been watching a
so
lot of other
sad.
baseball. There's a lot of really
Yeah.
good stuff going on. So
There is.
that's kind of what I wanted to talk about was pay
Yeah, let's
attention
talk
to what's
about other baseball that's
yeah.
interesting.
Well,
watch the Cardinals if you want, but there's a lot of other teams that are way more fun to watch right now.
let's first off start with a couple things, and we'll go around the league. Let's start with our shout outs. Your guy, Altuve, 2,000 career hits. That's incredible. He is the fastest in Major League history to get to 2,000 hits, 200 home runs, and 200 stolen bases. Dude's a Hall of Famer. I don't care what you want to say. I don't care
He's
what you
not
want to talk
only-
about. Dude's in the Hall of Fame.
He's the best second baseman in my lifetime, and it's not close. He's the best, also best second baseman in Astros history, and they have a Hall of Famer in their second baseman that is in the Hall of Fame in their history.
Joe Morgan?
No, Craig. Did he play there?
Yeah.
Okay, actual Astros. Because he played for a year and then it was career.
I don't know how long it was.
Craig Biggio is who I was talking about.
Okay. I knew who you were talking about.
But no, he's incredible. And I get this cheating scandal, even though it's been proven time and time again that he didn't use it. People want to ignore it, whatever. He is, I mean, he's awesome. He's a guy you want to root for. And it really sucks he got caught up in this whole cheating scandal because he was like the most beloved guy in baseball before that. But I love Jose Altuve. He's one of the best players I've ever seen. So yeah, he's a Hall of Famer
absolutely.
Easily.
Shout out to Mad Max. Just obviously for being a St. Louis kid, we love that, and obviously future Hall of Famer as well. He is now 11th all time in strikeouts. This is there every once in a while. There's something that pops up in baseball that I'm like, how did I not realize that? And I'll tell you what this is. He's 27 strikeouts behind a certain human to become in the top 10. Do you know who number 10 is?
There's a lot of options here, Dad.
Well, I'm going to tell
you. Give me a decade, and then I'll try and guess.
Late 80s, well, 90s. Let's go 90s.
90s. Wow. Okay. Tom Glavine.
That's a great guess. It's Greg Maddux, and I had no idea that he was in the top 10 all time in strikeouts. I did not know that.
He just threw so many innings.
Yeah, it's just that one blew my mind. Not because Greg Maddux didn't get strikeouts. We know that he did. I just never would have equated him in the top 10 in all time Major League Baseball in strikeouts. So Max probably going to pass him this year. I mean, is going to pass him this year.
You know what's impressive about what you just said for Greg Maddux? He averaged 6 strikeouts per 9, which is not very much at all, obviously. And some of that's because at the beginning of his career, he struck out nobody. And at the end of his career, he also struck out nobody. But at his prime, he was averaging like 7. He just pitched. He never got hurt, and he threw so many games.
Yeah.
And was so consistent that he still racked up that many strikeouts to get to 10th.
Yeah. That was one of those stats where I was like, when they said it, I had to rewind.
I wouldn't have guessed him.
Me neither. Never. Like, never would have thought he was.
I would have guessed like maybe top 20 just because how many innings he pitched, but not top 10.
Sure. Anyway, shout out to Max. Now let's get to before we go around the league and just kind of look at a few things. Man, the Shohei Ohtani news is massive. And awful. Let me just give you my take on it, and then I'd love to hear what you think. I'm going to say 3 things, and then we'll go from there. One, I think he now stays with the Angels because I think when you tear your UCL, you're going to have Tommy John again. I don't care if you do the stem cell therapy. I don't care if you do the shots. I don't care if you do the steroids. I don't care what they do to try to help that. Like you're staring down the face of another Tommy John surgery. $500 million is off the table. Like that's done. Nobody is going to pay that. He's a great bat. Don't get me wrong. He's an elite bat. Top 3, top 5 bat in Major League Baseball. Top whatever you want to put him in. Okay.
Definitely top 10. Yeah.
But he now that value literally just, and it's so sad to see that. Do you think, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think we're going to look back and just say that was the best 3-year run ever by a player? Or do you think we're actually going to look back and Ohtani will overcome this and we're going to say that is literally the greatest player to ever play the game?
I hope it's not the 3 years and that was it. I really hope that's not the case. Here's what I'll say. No matter what happens going forward, Shohei Ohtani is the best baseball player to ever walk this planet. No,
Okay.
he could never play another game. He's the best baseball player ever walked this planet. We saw it for 3 years. No one else in the history of the world could do what he just did for 3 years. I will not ever take that away from him. I don't care if people say, well, here are his counting stats. We just saw him. We watched him play, you and me both. We saw it. He's the best player to ever walk this planet. That's what I'll say. Greatest is a different conversation.
Agreed.
Now, 500 million, I still think he'll get it. I really do. Now, do I think he should? I think he should. I think he's earned it. But do I think if I'm a team and I'm the owner, I'm willing to do it? Probably not. But I still think there's going to be a bidding war. And, it's kind of like that. If a lot of people think you're underrated, if, you become overrated, right? If that kind of is a thing. I think if a lot of people try and think you're going to get underpaid, eventually the bidding war is going to get up to where you're actually going to be. If enough teams try and get in on him at 300, then it's just going to keep going up to 400 and to 500. And I think what will happen, it would worry me that it was only 5 years apart from his last Tommy John. That's not very much. That's a lot of wear and tear on his arm. And it also worries me if he were to tear his next UCL at some point down the line, maybe it's 5 years. Let's give it another 5 years. He's never pitching again. So are you going to give him 8 years at 50 a year? I don't know. So maybe you're right. Maybe he doesn't get 500.
Yeah. Also, let me ask you this: does he take one of those little 2-year deals to stay in Anaheim? They proved that it didn't work. Don't get me wrong, but they did go out and make deals. But do you think he takes a 2-year deal to bet on himself to show that he's healthy again?
Here's the thing: you can't, because second time Tommy Johns take 18 months to recover from.
So, but who's going to give him a deal knowing that thing is torn? What if you're an owner in Major League Baseball? I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Artie Moreno. I don't care if you're the guy in LA.
That's who would do it. You just named him. That's who would do it.
Who?
Artie Moreno.
That's what I said. I think that's what I'm telling you. I think this injury almost cements the fact that he's going to stay in Anaheim or LA. Sorry.
I hope not.
I really do. I think that injury,
the fact
that the Angels did go out, Trout comes back, gets hurt. He ruined my fantasy team, made a trade with you that ruined my team for good and thought I was making it better. But I had a great thing going and got greedy and ruined my fantasy team. But, whatever. But I think that honestly, and it sucks for baseball. It sucks because I was so ready to watch the offseason Shohei bidding war. But I honestly believe that it sends him back to the Angels. Because if you're another owner, you're not giving him that money on a hope. Hey, let's hope everything is okay. I don't see it.
You're telling me AJ Preller's not gonna.
Preller's not gonna. He can't do it, bro. Are you kidding?
He can. He offered Aaron Judge $440 million.
I don't care. The Giants aren't. The Giants and the Mariners aren't going to do it now. That takes them off the board with the question marks. We've seen the Giants come off the board with everybody.
Here's the thing, though, Dad. Hold on. Here's the thing. His value went no matter what happened. His value went down. Right? He went down because you're losing a year of his prime, pitching wise. So no matter what, he's going to get less than he was going to get. So you're losing at least 1 year of his pitching, of his prime. So he will get less. So I don't know what extent. That might make other teams get more interested. They might be like, okay, let's look at it this way. Maybe now he's going to get a 5-year deal, and maybe it's going to be an exorbitant amount of money for 5 years. But you say, well, if his second UCL holds up, we'll have him for 4 years pitching wise, 5 years as a hitter. Maybe you do give him 5 years, 50 a year. Maybe you go 5-250. But it would suck for him because God, he's losing so much money. But
yeah,
maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion he stays in Anaheim because that place is a mess, and I really hope he doesn't because I want to see him in the postseason. And trade Mike Trout.
They're not going to.
The Angels are my least favorite franchise in baseball.
It's hard enough for them not to be. Orioles and Rays still going at it in the East. Both teams playing really, really well in the last 10. Orioles still with a 2-game lead there, but both have played really, really good baseball lately. The Twins, all they have to do is play 500 to win that division. They're 4.5 up.
Ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can the Rays catch the Orioles without Wander Franco and obviously Shane McClanahan now out for the year? Let's just presume, we don't know this, but let's just presume Franco doesn't play again. Okay, let's just say that happens, that he doesn't play again this season. I mean, not for his career, this season. Can they catch the Orioles and make a deep playoff run without Franco and McClanahan?
Okay, two separate questions there, okay? So, one, can they catch the Orioles? Yes, they can. Do I believe they will? No. But can they? Yes. Do I believe they can make a deep run in the playoffs? No, I do not.
I don't either.
Yeah, I do not.
At some point, when is this going to be addressed that they kill pitchers?
What a turn. Yeah, yeah.
Like
I
when is it
mean,
going to be addressed? And
kind of like the
it's all
Cubs
the
of
good
the early
pitchers.
'90s or the mid '90s when
I
we
did
saw
hear so
Pryor
I
and Wood
heard
and
an
those guys,
interesting I heard an interesting thing. Yeah, that was Dusty, but that's a different conversation.
and Jason Schmidt and San
But
Fran.
I heard an interesting thing from one of the beat reporters from Tampa that says, I think he thinks a lot of the reason that this keeps happening isn't because what they're doing necessarily is hurting their elbows of pitchers, but because they're more willing than other teams to take on injury risks. Like so they take on guys that have a funky
Really
looking
good
elbow and
point.
it's MRA. It is MRI.
Yep.
And then they take them and they're like, we'll see what happens, and then they get hurt. And he also said the Rays are going to reevaluate it because it's getting to a point where it's getting crazy that all their pitchers are getting hurt. Like it's at a point where in fantasy, I don't take their pitchers because I know they're going to throw me
Right.
110 innings. Like
well, I had Jeffrey
sucks.
Springs and he was rolling to start the season, and then boom.
Also, we didn't talk about Shane McClanahan. That sucks, dude. He is so
very
good.
sad,
and he's going to be out all this year and all next year. I mean, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, top 5 easily. So that really sucks.
Do you want to give a monologue on the Wander Franco issue?
No. Here's the thing. It would be unfair for us to say anything because we don't know
kidding.
anything.
It was a joke.
No.
Okay, let me ask you this. We live in a world right now in the American League where it is theoretically possible that the Astros do not make the playoffs. Like it is well, you say it's not going to happen, but right now it is theoretically possible. All right. Wouldn't that be that would be, I mean, of all things that has happened in 2023, that would be a wild one. Obviously the Yankees, garbage. They're 1-9 in their last 10. They're done. But the Astros, I mean, what the Mariners are doing playing, they're 8-2 in their last 10, including sweeping the Astros. Like
they're great. They're really good.
Here come the Mariners. The Mariners started in August.
You ready for my hot take?
Yeah.
They're winning the division.
Who are?
The Mariners.
Oh, all right.
I think they win the division. I think that the Rangers just let teams hang around. They just let them hang around. They could have taken off. They're 18 games above 500, so there's no shot at them. I just think they could have put this thing away when the Astros and the Mariners were struggling for so long, and they just didn't do it. And normally when that happens, they get caught. And I'm saying that with now this Ohtani thing is Corey Seager going to win the MVP. I guess that's a different conversation. But yeah, I think I like their mojo right now, and I think they're finally getting guys to contribute that should be hitting. Julio Rodriguez had 17 hits in like a 4-game stretch or something crazy.
He went crazy in Houston.
It was insane.
You know what I think they love? I think they love the fact, just like Baltimore, that the Yankees are garbage and the Mets are garbage and the Padres are garbage. And if you watch MLB Network, that's all they're talking about are those three. Nobody, it's like the Mariners are a blip on the radar. The Orioles have played great all year long, and yet nobody seems to take them seriously. And probably because of their pitching staff. And I understand that, but it doesn't matter. Just win games.
The Orioles are the best team in the American League.
So
also, speaking of the Orioles, Jack Flaherty, they skipped his start today because he didn't respond well to or they're skipping his start because he didn't respond well after throwing. Like his arm didn't respond well.
That's not good. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a baseball question. All right. And you have grown up in only the divisions era. All right.
Yeah.
As have I. Like back in my day, you had the East and the West in both. That's all you had. But when you stare down, and this has happened in the NL for a while, we've seen it happen in the AL for a while. The Twins are going to stare down that third playoff spot. All right. And they're going to get the home field games, right? Whatever, for winning literally the worst division in baseball.
Which last year didn't mean anything because almost every team with home field lost.
What I want to get to is with the balanced schedule, do you believe it's time to just go back to an AL and an NL and get rid of the divisions or to reseed come playoff time? Or keep it the same. Those are your 3 options. Like you either go, hey, these are your AL, NL teams when we take the top 6, all right? Mm-hmm. Or we keep the divisions and we keep it the way we have. You win your division, no matter how garbage it is, you still get that number 3 seed for winning your garbage division, even though the 3 teams below you are quantifiably better. Or do you go to the reseed come the playoffs? And if you're going to do that, then why have the division? So
you can't do that because then division championships mean nothing. So I'm not picking that one. I'd keep the divisions. I'd realign them when I think I'd go to 4 divisions. That's what I do. 2 in each league.
And then 2 why?
And then because I did think
football.
Like if you do leagues and it's just 2 leagues, the travel is just insane. You'd have to realign the American League and the National League, or it just wouldn't work. You'd have to go to East and West.
What? I don't understand why.
Because you're going to be having because then you have situations where the Mariners are traveling to Tampa and then have to go back and play the Dodgers or something.
Why? Why would that be a thing? That could be a thing now. You already have a balanced schedule where you're playing everybody.
Because now you're even. No, it's not. It's balanced and you're playing everybody, but it's not balanced because you're playing the people in your division more, which makes the travel easier. But so now if you're playing everyone the same amount, then you're traveling to Florida more if you're in Seattle. I don't think that's going to work.
Because are you trying to tell me the teams don't have the money to travel?
No, they have the money. I'm saying the players don't have the fucking.
Here's what I'm saying. Back in the day,
8-hour flights all the time.
Back in the day, when everybody was worried about the travel, like when it was just the and you had the East and the West, right? So you only had 2 in each. Either way, even if you were playing those teams, you went out to the West Coast and you played your West Coast stretch. You might be out there for 2 weeks, but you were out West and then you were back. So you weren't traveling out there twice a year. And if you went East, it was the same way. That's the way baseball used to be played. You went out on a long West Coast trip, right? Or you went out on a long East Coast trip. And if you were in the middle, you were kind of lucky because you were closer to both. I just question, and again, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. It's helped the Cardinals in the past. It helped them last year, winning the Central. I just think at some point you have to get the best teams the most games if you're Major League Baseball. I mean, like basketball has kind of done, although they still have a problem. I mean, there's always going to be an issue.
Do not take after basketball because basketball's regular season is just the worst regular season in all sports.
Well, people will argue that it's baseball, but I don't agree with that.
No, the basketball regular season literally doesn't mean anything.
Well, it does. You have to get in the playoffs.
Do you have a pulse? Okay, you're in the playoffs.
So anyway, so you would just keep it the same then and just say
I would just I think I'd
don't worry about it never being fair.
I mean, it does suck, but it does suck. Here, it's always the Centrals that mess this up, and as a Cardinal fan, I kind of like it, but it is a mess, and I don't know. They need to figure it out somehow, and I don't know how you do it. It's almost like, hey, give some kind of incentive to make these owners spend money in the Centrals.
It almost feels like also to me,
Detroit.
Here's my argument against the divisions. If you win your division, but you're the worst division, you really don't win anything. You don't get a bye. You do get to play at home. Right. That's it. You only get to play at home, but it's a 3-game series, which we know anything can happen in a 3-game series. It's not a 5-game series. It's not a 7-game series.
Even like something like Gene Segura can hit a single and ruin our season.
So what is winning this? Like, what does it really even mean? Like, you're really not getting a massive advantage. You're guaranteed a playoff spot. That's it. But if we're going to be honest,
it gives John Mozeliak something to celebrate.
I guess. I mean, let me be honest with you. Can I be really? And this is not to offend anybody who listens or watches our show that is a Minnesota Twins fan, but I would much rather see Tampa Bay, Houston, Seattle, and Toronto in the playoffs than Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be honest.
I agree with that, but then you're gonna.
I mean, you're not getting the best teams in the playoffs. You're not getting the best teams in the playoffs, and I think that's
but it's not every year though, Dad. Like you're only talking about this year. The Guardians beat the Rays last year.
I get it, but if you were to go back and look, it is a lot of years that a team is left out that should be in the playoffs. Cardinals have been in that.
Let's just go through the last 5 years. It's been like the White Sox when they were one of the better teams. The Guardians last year were definitely a playoff contending team. The Twins when they were really good, they were they were one of the best teams in baseball. Then you'll go back to
but they would have been in any way.
Cubs won the World Series. Brewers were good. Cardinals were good.
So you're really including teams who would be in the top 6. That's all I'm saying. Those teams were in the top 6 in their league. Then.
No, but I don't like that, Dad. I don't like that. That's just me. I like the baseball's different. I don't want that. NFL's the same way. Like you're talking about, this is just baseball. NFL's the same way. Look at some of the divisions where the Saints division this year. They might win it with 7 wins. It's
7 wins. You shut your mouth. They're winning 12.
I'm saying they might only need 7 to win is what I'm saying.
No. But again, to be fair, to argue against my point, the National League is where it needs to be.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think there has to be a change, especially if they are going to expand. Then you're going to see a realignment.
That would be realignment.
That's when you go to your 4 divisions, probably, because then you have 32 teams. That makes absolute sense to have 8 divisions, 4 teams.
What would you do? Two, so 2 teams make it from every division just straight up, and then you have wild cards.
Oh my God, you're going to expand. So you're going to go 10 teams in the playoffs. So you're worse than basketball.
Oh, I did my math wrong. Hold on. So 1. So you have a winner of every division. So that'd be 4, and then you'd have
2 wild cards.
No, you'd have to have 4 wild cards.
So you're going to expand. You're going to 8. Then you're going
Well,
to
no,
the
how many
NBA,
teams do
which
we
you
have in
just
the
bagged.
playoffs? We have 6, right? 6 for each division.
Yeah.
6 from each league. So there's 12.
I'm talking about 8 from each division is what you just went to.
No, I'm saying there would be 2. No, I'm saying there would be 2 playoff teams make it automatically 1 and 2 seeds from each division. So that's 8 teams total. Okay, stay with me
In
here.
each league.
Right. And then you have 2 wild cards from each league.
So now you just
12.
went to 10 teams in a playoff.
We have 12s in the playoffs already. I don't know what you're talking about.
Caleb, you just went to 20. You put 10 in each
No,
division or in
I
each
said
league.
2. I said 2 winners from each of the 4 divisions. That's 8. 2 times 4 is 8.
2 winners from each of the 4 divisions.
So you have like the one since the divisions are going to be so much bigger. You have the top 2 are
so you're just keeping it at 12. You're keeping it the same.
That's what I said, and you just
throwing out I thought you were trying to say. My apologies. You calm down up there in Champaign. I thought you were trying to say 2 teams from each division.
That's what I said.
League. In each league is what I thought you were talking about. Try to
2
keep
teams
up.
From each division. 2 times 4, 8.
So you're going division winners. That's 4 in each league, and then 2 wild cards. That's 6 total.
No, what I was saying was if you have 4 divisions, and I'm keeping the number at 12, I was saying that I would have the 1 and 2 seeds from each division make it. So that's 8 teams. And then you have 2 wild cards in each league from the rest. And the one
you're blowing. Can I ask?
And the 2 hold on, and the 2 number 1s that win the division, from each division will get the buys.
Your math is not adding up to me. So I'm sorry about that. My head actually is hurting right now. If you have 4 divisions,
correct,
right? Let's say north, south, east, west. Let's just call it that.
Sounds good.
Right?
Compass.
Okay. And you're saying you want 2 teams from each division
automatically
in the National League.
You said we were going to 4 divisions.
In each league, Caleb. 4 in the American and 4 in the National.
Oh, I thought you meant 4 total. That's where I was confused.
No, that's the old way. The east, west. That's how it used to be. That's where I was so confused. That's why I said if you expand 2 teams, you're going to 4 divisions in each league.
I would go to so I was saying I would go to just 4 total divisions.
Okay, good Lord.
I'd get 8 teams in each division.
You need Google Translate for you.
Okay, well, let's get out of here. We're going
to one more. Is there anything else you want to keep an eye on? You keeping an eye on the NL Central, the Cubs and the Brewers? You keeping an eye on the West?
I don't care.
I mean, right now the Central has 3 teams in the playoffs. I don't see that happening. Do you?
The NL Central?
Yeah, 3 teams in.
Maybe. I mean, the Diamondbacks suck.
Cincinnati has no pitching, bro. Like, there's no way they get in, right?
I mean, they're still winning games. Like
San Francisco's getting in.
The Marlins are fugazi. I mean, are the Phillies the second best team in the National League?
Yes, they are. I would argue that yes, right now they are.
And they're like 5 games behind the Dodgers, but I don't care about that because the Dodgers just figured out a regular season formula.
So as of right now, they would get the Cubs in the first round. That'd be an interesting matchup.
No, it wouldn't.
With Stroman and Steele
and Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah, correct.
No. They get smacked.
That is correct. Hey, let's hope.
I think the Phillies are going to go back to the World Series this year.
I think the Braves are going to the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time the best team actually went to the World Series? The Astros last year, but in the National League, it never happens.
Yeah. All right. I got nothing else.
I guess the Dodgers in 2020, but that's it.
Well, the only thing I can say to all the people listening, thank you, and watching, thank you again. Hit the subscribe button. Follow us along. We'd love to have your comments on YouTube. Also, go watch some really good baseball this weekend. Go watch Springfield if you want to see JC. Go watch AAA if you want to see who's still down there. Victor Scott's still at AA. So go watch Springfield. Go watch Springfield.
Prieto?
Yeah, Prieto's at AAA.
Gordon Graceffa.
So go watch those guys. Nothing against the Cardinals. We're still fans. We're looking forward to the future. The present just happens to suck. So everybody, anything else you need to say? All right. Nice to see you in the new digs.
Wrap it up.
All right. Let's get out of here. Thank you again. We greatly appreciate you all. Hope you have an amazing weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Let's go Cards.